Oh my god, guys. Hey guys, it is Justin, your guide into the other side. So first of all, I woke up at like 10, 11 p.m., right? And I get on X because I'm feeling a little bit sick, and I don't know if I'm gonna make a video today. But I saw this and I was like, oh shit, I'm just gonna talk about loot. I'm gonna talk about Magic Eden. I'm gonna talk about Yuga. I'm gonna talk about the gas fees and layer twos and all the fun stuff that everybody wants to know about and kind of speculate on. So, why don't we just get into it? So, by boardbill.eth. Good morning, sir. I know you're a big fan of Forgotten Runes, so as a little thank you for the excellent content you created for the community, I gifted you a couple of loot items. I'm sure you'll put them to good use. So pause right here, dude. I appreciate you so much. Like, you don't have to do that, but by all means, we got the Infinity Gauntlet now. So I'm just being a little bit cringe, but I love the loot, especially the Gauntlet and the classic Magus card. So why don't we talk about loot? Let's just make that the topic of this video because I know everybody's been talking about it. So why don't we get into it? So, with the loot mint, there are a couple things that I wanted to talk about, right? So I was reading through the license partner agreement, and a lot of things made a lot more sense, especially with regards to the verbiage within. It kind of points to maybe smart contract upgrades, maybe things like layer twos, but again, it's just speculation on my part. I just wanted to point it out. But I want to talk about what the loot can be used for in the partner ecosystems, right? It says partner loot are interoperable within the ecosystem of their partner collections. So the onus of information on how they're going to be used within the partner collections is on the partners, right? Yuga isn't necessarily. I don't know if they necessarily have the information, but I would say it's pretty. At least for Serum City, it's pretty strongly towards the in-game stuff. I would assume. Maybe we'll see. But again, if you have Serum City boxes, I would assume. I hope I'm speculating correctly that, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 boxes, they probably have stuff inside of the game that, contribute to the game loops like crafting. So I'll just pull up my leaderboard. Pardon my OBS in the background, but the leaderboard, the game is all about building your city out, getting onto the leaderboard, playing for those HQ upgrades, playing for the ape coin rewards in season 2. So again, we have 105 days, so you got a long time. We got a long time to figure out how things are going, going around. But essentially, I'm just playing Serum City. I'm just crafting. I'm just clicking my buttons, managing those timers, managing my resources, and I found if I'm just gonna go a little bit of a tips and tricks. But the pirate radio station is really important once you hit like level 22 and up because you run out of gold really fast. I've noticed. And the gold here is going to be really important to help you progress forward, especially if you're crafting things. And the trains are really important. But if I'm just going to try to loop it back to the loot, right? I think the loot is going to be some type of item within the game, whether that's the car parts, whether that's things that'll help you progress faster to build out your city. I think it's something relevant to that, right? So if I alt tab back to the leaderboard, if you take a look at the season leaderboard, you can kind of see the possible rewards here are sitting at like, uncommon shipping container, rare shipping container. The boxes look pretty similar in terms of aesthetics. So, I mean, that's the logical assumption that most people are going to make, but that's yet to be seen. So if we keep moving on, of course, one of my favorite projects, Forgotten Runes. We got Forgotten Runes loot as well. At first, I thought they were going to be used inside of the Runeverse game, but upon, participating in a couple of Wizard Wednesdays, I think the loot is going to be more towards that Athenaeum collection. So if you're not familiar with the Athenaeum collection, it's more of like little trinkets, I would say cosmetic items within the... I don't know how to explain it very well. They're just like little nice things to have. We don't necessarily know what the use case of them will be yet, but again, like most partner projects, we'll have to wait on them to figure out how they're going to use their items within their ecosystem. And I do trust Magic Machine and Bisonic to utilize those things correctly, or in the way that they want to creatively, because I love the Wizards. They've got layers and layers and layers of things that are going for them. So again, I'm waiting for the game, but there's a whole lot of things I'm sure in my other videos that you can check out. But I'll keep an eye on that for you. But outside of that, there's also the Rengalu, right? Okay, I haven't done a good enough job on keeping an eye on the Renga ecosystem. I apologize for that, but it has been on my mind because a couple of the Renga collections do look like me, and I might pick one of those up. So, outside of Renga, I don't want to speculate too much. There is the applied primate stuff, and I do want to get to that in just a second. But why don't we segue briefly into the layer 1 discussion that's been happening and gas fees that has been happening across the timeline, as I'm sure you've seen. So that's where it kind of segues into the core of the issue, is that everything's on layer 1, right? And layer 1, all the ecosystems in the games are subject to gas fees. And the gas fees on Ethereum, when G-Way is like above 50, then you're probably paying more for gas than you are the actual item within the ecosystem, right? So you're just essentially getting taxed for 100%. And like that's been causing a lot of friction, and it doesn't necessarily make sense for a lot of people. It costs a lot of people money. And then we also saw the thing with the catalyst, which was also reversed. So there's a lot of things moving. There's a lot of parts moving, but I wanted to touch on the possible solutions that I do think are being worked on. But again, I'm just putting the pieces together, so don't shoot the messenger. So why don't we take a look at the partner loot license, the license terms, right? And if you scroll down to under one ownership, under the D section, this says replacement or successor partner loot NFTs, right? So it says, from time to time, and in Yuga's Lab's sole discretion, you may be offered the opportunity and option to mint, claim, or otherwise receive replacements, substitutions, or upgrades to your partner loot NFT, aka legally speak, a successor partner loot NFT, right? At first, I did not understand what replacement or substitution meant, and I focused on upgrades, right? Because we know that ship parts are going to combine into, you need 10 of each, well, I think 10 of each part to make a full part piece, essentially. And that's kind of what upgrades meant in my mind, but I didn't understand what replacements or substitutions meant. Right. So you're not obligated to mint, claim, or receive a successor partner loot NFT, but if you do, you agree to continue to, okay, blah, blah, blah. There's something about burning, right? You're not, let me find it. You're not included to, not limited to the burning of your then existing partner loot NFT. So there's allusion to a burn mechanism. And, I want to contextualize this with another update that we got. We know that the Yuga Magic Eden marketplace is coming for Ethereum. But we know that, Ethereum is not necessarily conducive to frictionless, trading. And I would also say that it's not really conducive to in-app purchases either, right? So we also saw on the Faraway page on February 8th that the other collections in the ecosystem will have access to Serum City, right? And this kind of alludes to Faraway being in charge of a lot of things, keep, the interoperability of the ecosystem. And, we know that they are developing, Dookie Dash Unclogged. We know that they're in charge of Serum City. We know that they're in charge of the Faraway shop. We know that they are, they develop Legends of the Mara as well. And that really provides one platform for everything to move on to. And we already saw that a lot of the Dookie Dash avatars are being sold in Sol. And it's a very multi-chain solution, essentially. But what I wanted to talk about specifically was they said that the Kennel Club, the Codas, the Meebits, the G-Tags, and the Heavy Metals will go live this month for the all Serum City. Okay. Where am I trying to go with this? So basically, you get a free Serum City pass if you have a Kennel Club, a Coda, Meebits, G-Tags, and Heavy Metals later this month in February. So we're waiting on a date. Why? Interesting question. But the most important part that stuck out to me was all Serum City HQs will minted after upcoming pass claim will be on Polygon. That was very interesting, right? Because we know on Magic Eden there is also a Polygon section, right? And I mean, if we have all the Yuga stuff on Ethereum, And we also have Serum City, bridging into Solana, for the UGC stuff, and then Polygon for the the Serum City passes. Are we? I mean, we're segueing into a multi-chain game meta, right? With frictionless payments and frictionless trading. I would hope so, and I think Yuga is. I think that's on top of Yuga's priority list. So, I think that's worth keeping an eye on. The segue for loot, Yugaverse assets to possibly be on layer 2 Polygon. So I'm not an advocate for any of the particular chains, but Polygon, Arbitrum, Base, ZK, any of the chains essentially. I don't have any positions in any of them. I would just say that all signs really kind of point to Polygon. In the Faraway shop, right? We see it, with them delving into like Solana, Polygon, etc., etc. So maybe we see loot on. Maybe we burn our loot to Polygon to get a replacement or substitution or an upgrade, right? I just thought that was worth mentioning. So, please, I don't want to pay gas anymore. But, okay, let's talk about the next piece of loot that we have on our schedule, right? So I know I talked about Serum City, I talked about Forgotten Runes, and I also talked about Renga, but there was a last piece of aggregate information that I wanted to present, and that was the Applied Primate Hunter, as well as the Applied Primate loot, which is Megaforce Sentinels, right? And they had a post about it. Doc has revealed an update on some exciting Otherside meta-related discoveries, including groundbreaking research on incorporating looted vessel shards into special Coda-style weapons. Excuse me. Which is wild, because we saw like a picture of a Coda building weapons, and it's like, what is that use case? What do you mean we can make Coda-style weapons? That's wild. That's very interesting, because, I mean, at first I didn't understand, like, why is it an enchanter shard? Why is it a farmer shard? Why isn't it an enchanter shard? Is that going to be for the Kodamaras, or is it going to be for the allies? I don't know. And I wanted to jump into the Discord screenshot that I pulled from the lab updates, and it said, let me try to find the interesting part here. Now that loot has been reclaimed and is now available to be possessed, it is my pleasure to announce that we have been hard at work on a method to incorporate these limited items into special weaponry that is infused with the magic of Codas and Otherside, right? And then you will be very soon be able to use these shards to craft new Coda-style weapons. We are very excited not only for this, but for more work and missions that will be taking place in and around those legends of the Mara who diligently defend Otherside. So, Applied Primate has some very interesting alpha updates that I didn't necessarily think we would get from that channel, especially with regards to Coda-style weapons. That's very interesting. So there is obviously more than meets the eye for all of these partner loot outside of just the ship parts, because we know that ship parts are probably going to be used in the mobile app that's slated for the second half of 2024 for Legends of the Mara. So that was very interesting as well. And I am very keen to keep an eye on that, because I definitely like the loot. But that's just me. I would sweep more loot if there were sleeping capabilities on X2, Y2, but we're gonna have to wait for Magic Eden. But again, that's probably for another video. So again, let me know if you like this video or if you learned anything. Hopefully we get some more news on how frictionless trading will work, especially with loot, just because things are a little bit rough right now. But anyways, I want to just thank you, Board Bill, again for the Mages card and the Power Gauntlet, because by all means, we are getting closer to Otherside and Runeverse and literally everything in the ecosystem I'm fucking excited for. So you guys know where to find me. I'll catch you guys on the other side, and yeah, it's gonna be a good one. See you guys. Peace.